All right, well, Jen, welcome.
Thank you so much.
I love how comfy cozy you are.
Thank you.
I love
couldn't
it.
help it. You guys put a blanket out. I am taking it.
I was like, that's it. It's been a long day.
It has
I
been.
need a break. I don't know if you've been watching The Housewives of New Jersey.
Have been.
Mama needs a break.
Mama needs a break, and you deserve it. But it's been an interesting season thus far.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's definitely a word
Yeah.
that one could use.
Right.
Yes, it has been. I mean, we're 5 episodes in, I believe, right? Yeah, it's been a different kind of season for me than season 13 was.
Yeah.
Season 13 was like a little more fun, float in, float out, make cheese jokes, and go to Ireland, and lots of, it hasn't really felt like that kind of season. No, more serious.
Right, definitely more serious.
Right.
And it's kind of like a lot of toxicity, would you say?
Yeah, another word. I think that's accurate as well. Yeah, it hasn't been all fun and games.
No.
I cannot lie.
Yeah.
Did you fun moments?
Did you expect that going into the season after the reunion? Because there were,
Well, I mean, there was stuff that happened at the reunion. I don't think a lot got resolved. No. And then there was stuff that happened over the summer that I think exacerbated what was already kind of a difficult situation. Yeah. And so, no, I don't think I expected it to be all, peace, love, and happiness when we started. But I also didn't expect it to be what it's been. Yeah. Yeah, which is quite the roller coaster.
Right. And you are kind of straddling both sides.
I'm trying.
You're trying.
I'm trying.
But do you feel like that almost backfired on you?
Yes.
Yes. Well, it did. Yes.
I definitely think it backfired on me.
I definitely think it backfired.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a person that tries to hear both sides. I try to, be able to relate to, friends, people that I'm not as close with, and try to, be objective as much as I can. And yeah, it didn't go that well for me. No, I did not see what you try to. What everyone's friend is no one's friend, or something like that. So it wasn't. That was not a seamless process. But my intentions were, and I hope always will be, they were good, right?
Yeah, I thought I couldn't really understand why it was such a big issue watching it back, because you really didn't go in there.
Thank you.
You had the best intentions, it felt like.
Yeah.
I know you said in another interview that you haven't spoken to Rachel in a long time, but did Margaret's opinion change after she watched your conversation with Teresa?
Nobody was happy with me after they saw me hug Teresa.
Right.
That was the hug of death.
Sure, the hug of death.
Right.
Yeah.
But
after watching it back?
After watching it back, no, nobody was pleased with me.
Okay.
And I guess I get that. I know that Rachel was coming from a place of, having just really been hurt, and her and John were still trying to make sense of how badly my birthday party went. And so I get that. And she saw me, who, she considers a dear friend, hugging this person that just hurt her. Yeah. So it's not that I can't see that for what it was, but the truth for me is that I went in there and Teresa wanted to talk to me, and I was trying to defend the Fudas and trying to defend Margaret. Margaret had asked me not to speak of her, and so did Rachel. So my bad. Let me say that first. So I shouldn't have said anything. If I had to do it again today, I wouldn't have. But I went in there, only trying to help. And it didn't go well. And I think that that's okay. I have to be true to myself. And I can't be a soldier. And I have to do what I think is right. So, going into a conversation like that, I was trying to hear Teresa, who's never done anything that hasn't been kind and nice and lovely to me. And so I went in with open mind, open heart. But I know that, Rachel and Margaret both felt like I was really being disloyal. Doing the best I can.
Yeah, right? Everybody's doing the best. But it has to be impossible, because in real life, if cameras weren't on, maybe you and Teresa wouldn't be friends, but you're shooting a show.
I'm so glad that you said that. I've been trying. Thank you very much. You should be a reporter.
I should, right? But you are shooting a show,
that's
and
the
you
thing
have to have
I kept saying, I was like, okay, so if we weren't shooting a show and someone did something to my friend, I would say, you know what?
Sure.
And I would go away, and I probably wouldn't see her for a while. And then when I did see her, I'd give her dirty looks, or I'd give her the... Okay, but that's not this.
Yeah.
We're on a show together, so we're going to see each other more than once, more than twice, and even though I'm a friend of, sometimes even more than 3 times a week. So what are the options, right? Okay, pick a side, go in, give dirty looks, say dirty things, or be civil and not only be civil, try to hear the other person, which is what I tried to do. We all work on the same floor. We're not, it's not like we can avoid each other.
Yeah.
Well, that's not true. I think a lot of us have avoided a lot of us.
Yeah.
But in my situation, you know, I handled it the best that I could.
How difficult was that this season, though, when there's so many people in the same room that just aren't talking to one another? And do you feel like
that's not the hard part, right?
Okay.
Because when people aren't engaging, then everything feels okay.
Sure.
But eventually, you know, the lines get crossed, and also it wasn't just, you know, going into the season, everybody knew that, you know, Melissa and Teresa were not going to engage, right? And Margaret was not going to engage, but they didn't know that Jackie and Margaret and Jen and Danielle and Teresa and Rachel and Jen Fessler and like all of that.
These
who
little
knew?
bombs all over the place.
Yes, exactly, exactly.
It is. It's really crazy. I mean, so you haven't spoken to Rachel in 5
Long
months.
time, yeah.
What was that? Was that last conversation that the two of you had? Did it feel final to you?
No,
No.
not necessarily. Like we sort of after filming wrapped, we still were in contact. Yeah, I mean, like I'd actually sent them somebody. I referred somebody to them professionally. I actually had tried to send John some business. Like everything was okay.
Sure.
But if I'm being really honest, we'd had some stuff happen before filming, and then things got a little sticky for me at BravoCon, and John and I had a discussion that I wasn't necessarily so comfortable with.
Okay.
And it takes me a while sometimes to figure things out, right? But once I do, I was like, wait a second, I need some space.
Yeah.
This friendship is not, I'm not enjoying it. It's not going, you know, the way that it was. It was so great at the beginning, but now it doesn't feel authentic to me. And so I think Rachel said at one point, I heard her say that she took a break, I took a break, we all took a break.
Okay.
So that's kind of where we're at now.
Do you foresee this being a permanent break, or do you? Because she described you as family. You spent holidays together. Like this, like you said, this was a friendship that happened really quickly.
It did.
And then it went away probably just as quickly as it came. So,
did.
like,
It did.
is that sad to you?
Yeah, it is. It's really sad. I mean, we had so much fun together, you know, and I introduced her to my family.
Yeah.
She introduced me to her family, and those children of hers, and she's a beautiful family. Yeah, of course it's sad. I mean, it's not, we weren't friends for the last 35 years.
Of course,
right? But we got very close very quickly, and I care about her. I care about their whole family. I only want good things for them. I don't know exactly what the future holds, but the bloom fell off the rose.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Right. Not who you thought she was.
I don't want to say it. That sounds. I think she's a great woman, and she is a wonderful mother, and all of that. But there were things that I think for both of us, like she didn't know about me, and I didn't know about her.
Okay.
Before we kind of jumped into this.
So you're not talking not because you had that conversation with Teresa.
No, because we were okay when filming wrapped.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and then it just I don't know. It wasn't working.
It wasn't working. Yeah. But do you feel at peace with it now?
Yeah, I mean, sure. I feel it's sad, you know, when you care about people and they care about you, and then all of a sudden you're not speaking anymore. Of course it's sad, but I don't feel angry. I don't know. I think Rachel and John may be angry at me. I'm not angry at them.
Right.
You know, I am more sad than angry, and not anything earth-shattering. Again, like Rachel didn't sleep with Jeff Fessler. Like it's not like I don't have a vengeance. You know what I mean? There's no axe to grind here.
Sure. Yeah. It's just two people going in different directions.
Yes.
Yes.
I like that.
Sure.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Is it true that Margaret did not want you and Jackie to come back if Louis was returning to the show?
Nope.
Okay,
that
so
is not true.
Okay, so that is a rumor.
I don't know. Whatever Jackie said about that, I will
Jackie
only
said
speak
that.
for myself.
Okay.
Margaret never asked me to not come back and do the show.
Right.
I said to Margaret, when everything went down and it was so crazy and it was about her son.
Yes.
And so all bets are off, right? And everything changes, of course, when it's about your kid. And in supporting Margaret, I was like, listen, if you don't want to go back and deal with this, I don't blame you, and I won't either.
Yeah.
Margaret never asked me to not do anything. That was something that I offered, and obviously you know this, she ended up going back. Yeah. And so I ended up going back. And then I ended up talking to Teresa. But I wasn't, I never pledged to Margaret, I'll never speak to Teresa
Sure, yeah.
again if you don't want me to. That was never the agreement.
Sure.
You know, so again, then we all ended up together on the same floor of the same office again. And, you know, I started to, and I had discussions with Teresa that went very nicely.
Sure.
But, you know, Margaret would, I'm sure, describe it differently.
Yeah. Do you describe Teresa as a friend? Is she a friend of yours?
So Teresa and I were always friendly. We were never
Sure.
like me and Margaret.
Of
we
course,
weren't.
yeah.
We weren't, you know, tight, close friends. We were always friendly, and Teresa's never been anything but nice to me.
Sure.
Having said that, a lot has happened since the show wrapped, and you know, I'm not blind, and I have seen a lot that has been disappointing to me, and I've been shown a lot of things, and so yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say that I'm cuddling up with Teresa. Like, I'm disappointed in a lot that's come out, and so I don't have any interest in bashing Teresa, you know, or Louis. I'm not out for blood with them,
Right.
but I'm definitely standing by Margaret, and you know, that's just the way it is now.
What have been some of those disappointing things?
I know that you are keyed in to all things social media. There's no way you need me to tell you what those things are.
Well, there have been some things floating around on all the Bravo sites about, you know, leaks on social media and, you know, stories and things like that, positive stories about other people. Is that incredibly disappointing to see things like that?
Yeah. I mean, you know, I can give you one example. Trying to mess with someone's business.
Yeah.
You know, Margaret is somebody who's worked, like, her work ethic is it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I can't keep up with her, and I don't want to keep up with her. She works really, really hard. But so trying to interfere with someone's business, right? There's like a line there.
Yeah.
And I don't believe in crossing that line. So I'm talking a little bit in circles, but I think you probably know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, no. And of course, like with children being involved, with Louis calling kids.
That's I can't. Right.
It's a hard no.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a hard no.
Does it take away from, well, obviously it takes away from the fun of the show, and what the show is really about
Yeah.
is like a group of women who are friends
Right.
and there to support one another. Yes, we have some drama,
Right.
but this just feels like a different type of level of drama
Right.
that we
right.
don't need.
Right. I mean, listen, this is only my second season.
Sure,
right?
yeah. You're like, what did I get myself into?
You said it, I didn't. But I've been watching the show since its inception and all of the franchises. And I keep saying, like, it's sad because you always felt as a viewer that underneath it all, there was this love, right? And that these
Right.
women,
At the end
they
of the
couldn't
day.
stand each other on any given day, and they were, you know, they were screaming and throwing shade, but at the end of the day, they would like come together,
Yes.
and there was this camaraderie and, you know, this feeling of sisterhood, and I as a viewer, I'm sad to see that go. You know what I mean?
Sure.
In Jersey, like, I feel like I've been, even though I have not been, I feel like I've been friends with these people for 14 years,
Right.
Like, I've been following Antonia and Gabriella
Yes, of course.
and Gia and, you know, Jen and her kids, and it's sad,
it is
you know,
sad.
because there was always that feeling of, okay, come back together, and there's a fondness, and I don't know that that's there so much anymore.